Hi guys, Trent Clarke here, MTG Grinders, doing a bit more recording, just on the grind as you will, driving across the highway through Melbourne. Just thought I'd have a chat. It's been a while. Pretty busy between life that you want to live and life that you have to live, I suppose. As work generally does that to people. But we're here now, talking about Magic. Lots to talk about, or lots to think about. Not sure how to talk about it. Standard being the name of the game. Jace, Bryn's Prodigy. What is that card? Like, seriously, what is that card? Why did they print something like Jace and then remove cards like Searing Blood? Why did they do that? The world is ruled by Jace once again. We are back on Zendikar, so it is only it only makes 100% sense. Jace ruling the format right beside Gideon, and cards like Hangerback Walker slowing down, taking away, being taken away from. It's an interesting time to stand. It's a very expensive time to stand. Fetch lands at a pretty decent spike in money. Obviously, the Planeswalkers and notable mythic rares being required in pretty much every tier 1 based deck. It's very expensive time. Very good time though. Magic Standard at the moment is quite a difficult format to get around, to really understand. So many different archetypes, so many different powerhouses. It's very hard to be able to clock the 75 cards in your list and be happy and be like, well, I'd rather just play this over this in my 60. Or I'd rather just have 2 copies of this in my 15 than two singletons. It's very difficult to tread water, but to traverse the waters of Standard right now. And it comes back to the fact that the power level, not the power level, the playing level of Standard at the moment is really difficult. You noticed, if anybody watched the Pro Tour, which I'm assuming that everybody did, I was unfortunately not able to watch it until about a week later. But I have caught up now, and you would just notice that the decks were so line intensive. Like, it wasn't an Abzan-filled meta where people were just going, well, I have this Siege Rhino, and now I have another Siege Rhino and a tap land, so I suppose I just play my 2 Siege Rhinos, and that's correct. There's so many different lines. People playing like Jeskai Black, moving into the Delve mechanic with cards like Jace, Dig Through Time, Murderous Cut, Tasiga, the Golden Fang, Ujitai's Command, Colligan's Command, all these things that interact with your graveyard or your opponent's hand or anything on the board, so wild and vast. It makes for hard choices. We've seen Hangerback Walker fall off in popularity. The Beach Garden, or John Finkel and Channel Fireball team, or most of the Channel Fireball team, running an iteration of Jeskai Black, supporting no copies of Hangerback Walker. A few other teams running Jeskai Black with the Hangerback Walker, and yeah, it wasn't there. Like, it just didn't seem like it did much this week. The last few weeks, Hangerback Walker. Well, okay. So Hangerback Walker as a card is always going to do something. It's always a pretty obnoxious card. It's always extremely strong. It serves a very good purpose, and it's just like a ridiculous card to get by for some decks. But a lot of decks have also adapted to Hangerback Walker in the ways of dealing with it. You've got obviously, like I just mentioned, your Jeskai Black deals with it pretty well. Culligan's Commands, Ujitai's Commands, Jeskai Charms, like the assortment of Fiery Impulse, Wild Slash, and then Jace's +1 to give it -2 to make it effectively just a big old mana sink that's not going to do anything for a while. Red Green Landfall and Taka Red just learned to go straight over the top of Hangerback Walker. Hangback Walker, when it was printed, was just like this huge goddamn roadblock that just punted Ataka Red if you had back-to-back blockers and dropping lands or anything after. Between Hangback Walker and Irish and Cleric, it was really hard to get around reduce your opponent's life total to 0. Now, not so much. With the ability to team of Battle Rages and Titan Strengths become immense, trample on your McGinney Slide Runner and big old Scythe Leopards, Snapping Gnarlids and things like that. Yeah, Hangback Walker's definitely fallen off. Abzan, Patrick Chapin pretty much only admitted to lacking 3 Hangback Walkers in Abzan now, because unfortunately you need 2-drops, because that's the way that Abzan has to play out, because it definitely wants to play a 2-drop, and with the loss of Fleecemane Lion, and obviously not wanting to play Soulfire Grandmaster or Seeker of the Way in Abzan-based lists, they need a 2-drop, and of course Hangback is probably still the overall probably the best 2-drop creature that isn't Jace. But yeah, outside of saying that, he's definitely dropped off in popularity. He's come down a notch, which is like, I suppose it's good. I think it's good anyway. I like the fact that Hangback Walker is becoming a bit less and less. Although it's a very, very powerful card. It's had its time in the sun. It's time to get out and shoot off for a little while. So yeah, Hangback Walker's gone. Jace gone up. Jace, what is that card? What have they done? God, it's a real powerhouse. I mean, I wasn't playing with the cub for a while. I was still on the Mardu train for a while. Still repping that Butcher and the Hangback, but time to change, man. Time to change. And it's old Thunderbreak region and Butcher the Horde. Cards like Gideon and Outpost Siege, they all just clash too much, and it's just so hard to find the right build of Mardu. So I've conceded. I've hung up the black, white, red hat, the Outpost hat, the Nomad Outpost hat. Switched to Jace, and my god, that card. The things that it does, like it's a core looter. It's a core looter with 2 toughness. It's not even a core looter, it's a looter. But it's the ability to flip that Jace and say turn 3, turn 4 is so high. Fetch, play 1 spell, discard, flip. It's not that hard, and the way that it just can control a game, can shut down, like I said before, can shut down a Hangback Walker just by +1-ing. It's pretty insane. Buying back your discards, just the cards' interactions are so unfair. Well, not unfair, but they're so tight. It obviously Jace is a card that comes with the ability to play Jace. So what I say by that is, like, it's not, like I said before, it's not like, I have a Siege Runner, and I have another Siege Runner, I have a Mana Strider, these creatures do what the creature's designed to do, and they do it well. But Jace, obviously, he does what he does well, but it makes you have to make him work for you. Jace won't work for you, you have to make him work. And I think, as busted as the card is, it's so good to have in a standard format a powerhouse level card that as soon as you get to untap with Jace, there are a million different things that you have to take into effect. When do I flip him? Why do I want to flip him? If I flip him, what am I discarding? What am I hoping to draw? How many cards are in my bin? Do I want to delve away before I flip my Jace? Do I want to not flip? Do I want to get a Planeswalker out of this? Do I want to block damage? Do I want to block and then activate my Jace and hope that it doesn't die in response? That's just the baseline of playing Jace. And that's before you even flip him. Because then you flip him and you're like, well, I mean, okay, so the choices probably get easier because you don't have the loot effect anymore, so you're not, well, I don't want to get all this card, I'm not going to get card advantage, or card selection, I should say, through the ability to just tap my creature, because now you have a Planeswalker. But he acts as a Planeswalker now, so it's a little bit simpler in his terms of playability. But my god, coming back to that card, bubbling a Mantis Rider, so he just stalemates with a Mantis Rider. It's pretty absurd. Like, I played a game on the weekend where I activated my Jace, and my opponent plays a Mantis Rider, attacks another 2, and then I think for the next 4 turns, Jace and Mantis Rider just stood at each other, just stared at each other, because he didn't want my Jace to be on 3, so I could buy back something from my graveyard. But at the same time, he wasn't killing me, and it was great. Like, I played 2 mana, and I saved upwards of 10, 11 damage to my face, and my Planeswalker didn't die until I either wanted him to or he had to. So it was pretty sweet, I'd say. I'd say sweet. Yeah, Big Star, number 1. Like, buy Hangback Walker, get out of here. We got Gideon. Well, Gideon is just Gideon. He does things that pretty much every deck wants. I've heard a lot of different things about Gideon from amateurs and pros alike. I mean, everybody obviously likes the card. Everybody says it's insane. There was like 20 copies in the top 8 of the Pro Tour, and I think it was the most played card across the Pro Tour, from my understanding, outside of that of like Polluted Delta, which is pretty insane. But yeah, the card's just insane. Like, we've gone over what Gideon does. Everybody knows what he does now. Just an all-star. Continually, like, see, the funny thing was, I was playing him in Mardu as a couple of copies, and I was constantly disappointed with him. And I saw, like, people would just, like, hear that, and they're just like, what? How can you be disappointed with Gideon? Like, Gideon is Gideon. Like, yeah, Gideon is Gideon, but Gideon's not, like, doing the right things as to what the Mardu list that I was running wanted to do. So I always had like this this really interesting take on Gideon, where everyone's like, man, this card's amazing. I'm like, yeah, he's okay. But yeah, look, the card is amazing. The card I want to say that Silk Wrap, man. Silk Wrap, it's Breakout, just really all over the shop, all over the Pro Tour of the last couple of weeks. Control decks, mid-range decks, everybody using it to just really take advantage of the fact that everybody is playing, well, outside of Dramoka's Command or Dramoka's Command, everybody's playing Jace, everyone's playing Mantis Rider, everyone's playing Hangback Walker, everyone's playing, I mean, even Aristocrats. It really does good work against Aristocrats. This card is sick. I've been playing Esper Control, Esper Dragon Control, the past couple of weeks, and to somewhat decent success. And Silk Wrap is just an all-star, man. The ability to just take away your opponent's Jace when not playing Wild Slash or Fiery Impulse, and like them not taking away, or them taking away your Jace, but by killing it, so you can buy it back later with Uchitar's Command, or even like a Splashbird Colligan's Command. Oh yeah, Silk Wrap, man. It's a great card. It's a really good find. It's I think that's one of the big abilities of the Pro Tour, is to be able to not go forward, but go back when it comes to card choice. So what I mean by that is new cards are released and the Pro Tour is there, and everyone's like, oh man, these new cards, they're all Breakout. Let's bust out the new Gideon. Let's bust out Ob Nixilis and really abuse those cards because people aren't 100% sure on how to play against them. But it's actually going back and being like, well, actually, how do we deal with these cards? Nothing in the new set does it. What about that card? What about like Silk Wrap or Feeder Resistance? You know, cards that, not so much Feeder Resistance as a card, but cards like that just say, well, I can do the job. I might not have been a front runner in the last format pre-rotation, but now I'm here and I'm like put my hand up to be played. and everybody was jamming Silk Rat. The Martin Muller's Jeskai Toga's list was jamming 4 of them, and it was sick. Like that was sick. I thought that list was gas. I actually attempted to play the Jeskai list, the Jeskai Ascendancy list, but I didn't actually have all the cards for the second day of the game day. Thankfully, I took down the Saturday game day with Esper Dragon. The second day, I wanted to play Jeskai Ascendancy, but I really struggled. One, because I hadn't played Jeskai Ascendancy that much, and 2, because I actually didn't have a lot of the cards that that the deck really wanted, that you don't realise it really wants until you play the deck. So Martin Muller was jamming 4 Silk Wraps and 4 Gideon Allied Zendikar. I actually did not have the 4 copies of Gideon Allied Zendikar in my list, and I did not have the 4 copies of Silk Wrap, primarily because I did not own them. So I was playing replacements, and man, did I feel like I just wanted those cards. Martin Muller's list was sick. Silk Wrap was so good in that list, and I really missed Silk Wrap. Like, I could tell just by playing the games with my opening hands where I had the two copies of Silk Wrap that I actually could find and play, be just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But not being able to... not having access to those cards, like as a multiple copy, really hurt. You can understand why, but yeah, Silk Wrap was one of them. Silk Wrap is brilliant. Even against Green White, I mean, boarding they don't even have to take your Silk Wraps out against Green White, because they play their Warden, and then you say go, and then they pump their Warden, attack you, and sure, you're taking a bit of damage, but you take their Warden. They've spent 2 turns, now they don't have a board, so they have to have a turn 3, which they probably will. They're probably going to Upzone Charm to draw a bunch of cards, or play on a Fencer, or play like a Hangerback Walker, but that's fine. Like, you've traded 3 mana for 2, and I mean, if you're on the play, then if you're on the draw like that, then it's great. And then obviously taking Hangerback Walker, if they just follow with Hangerback Walker, you Silk Wrap that, or they just play Hangerback Walker and you Silk Wrap that. Well, you can Dromoka's command and make me sacrifice enchantment. I now have a dead enchantment that you can't have. Unless they have Gideon Emblem and the game's like 15 turns in which case, well, I don't know why it'll be 15 turns in to have an emblem. And you're not dead, or they're not dead. So, yeah, I think Silk Wrap's like very much a breakout card. What do we got? We've got Jace, we've got Gideon, pretty well spoken about, like, everybody knows what they do. Silk Wrap, yeah, Silk Wrap's great. I really want to talk about, well, just brush over a couple of lists that I've seen. Christian Calcano's blue-black Aristocrats. Now, this deck was sick. I said this on camera. I thought it was great. I, as a Drownyard player in Innistrad days, played a hell of a lot against a card called Blood Artist. Now, Blood Artist is, although it's not an ally, it's a vampire, which I don't think it had much. It had a little bit of synergy back in the Innistrad days, but not a huge amount of synergy. But Blood Artist stated that whenever a creature dies, you gain a life, your opponent loses a life. Now, Zulaport Cutthroat is a human rogue ally, the 1/1 for 2, and it states that whenever Zulaport Cutthroat or another creature you control dies, you gain a life, your opponent loses a life. So notable differences are, if your opponent starts sacrificing Scions or Hangerback Walkering away, you don't get life, which is kind of a downside. But if you're doing it, then it doesn't really matter, right? So he was playing blue-black, with cards like Sultai Emissary, the 1-cost 0/4 wall that bounces guys and exploits. He wasn't playing, the only 2 downsides of the card that wasn't playing was he was not playing Treasure Cruise and he wasn't playing Jace. And Patrick Chapin actually, on his last podcast, pointed that out. And I was like, actually, yeah, I'm not sure why he wasn't playing those cards. But Calcano's list was sweet. Like, and to go even further, Gabriel Nassif in the early stages of the Pro Tour was on camera playing Black-Green Aristocrats, playing Zulaport Cutthroat namely called Zendikar Cutthroat, building around it with cards like Catacomb Sifter, Smothering Abomination. I think he had a couple of copies from Beyond in his sideboard. Just sick decks, like so solid in their lines. Abzan Ascendancy is a Pro Tour that was run at the Pro Tour and has seen a little bit of play lately. Very similar. Probably more. I actually probably like the list more. But playing Abzan Ascendancy with cards like Zulaport Cutthroat, Catacomb Sifter, Gideon, ally of Zendikar, being able to generate more tokens and get more solidarity out of your creatures by turning them into spirits and things when they die, your permanents. And then obviously having access to like Abzan Charm and the Jormonka's Command and things like that. Abzan Rally or I actually seen one of my good friends from my local town on Friday night. I actually played against him playing Esper Rally. Now, I initially dismissed this deck because I was like, well, Esper Rally. Like, I'm not hugely fearful of Rally, the Ancestors, as a general thing. But yeah, his deck was sweet. So Liliana, Zulaport Cutthroat, cards like Sultai Emissary, and it's not Profaner of the Dead. It's the 0/4 wall that the 0/4 that exploits and bounces. Jace, Treasure Cruise, and Rally the Ancestors. The deck was sweet. I was lucky enough to get over it as my opponent was bricked on lands both games. But he still had some really sweet lines, and you could just tell that list was sick. Like, that list was really strong. Zulaport Cutthroat, Nantuko Husk. So missing Nantuko Husk out of all these lists. Kalkana was playing Nantuko Husk and Whirler Rogue as well. Now that is a sweet interaction. That is a really, really cool interaction, being able to play, so on your curve, play like Zulaport Cutthroat or Blood-Soaked Champion into your Zulaport Cutthroat, into your Nantuko Husk, into your Whirler Rogue, and then like obviously you're beating down whilst you're playing your creatures, and then activating Whirler Rogue's ability to give your Nantuko Husk unblockable, and then attack with Nantuko Husk, sacrificing the 5 creatures, draining your opponent for 5 life, gaining 5, and attacking for 12. Yeah, pretty sweet, right? Is it 5? Yeah, 5 creatures plus Nantuko Husk. It's, that's sweet. That's so sweet. And, like, these other lists are very similar. Like, obviously, the Abzan Ascendants, Abzan Rally lists, being able to play Nantuko Husk and, Zulaport Cutthroat. I initially seen Zulaport Cutthroat and was very excited and very upset because I knew that Zulaport Cutthroat was going to be a card that I would just grow to hate, because it seems like every time somebody plays a Aristocrat, or they print an Aristocrat-based deck, something along the lines of Drain Gain or Zulaport Cutthroat Blood Artist kind of styles, I'm on the other end. I'm going to sweep the board and keep you away. And multiple times across just the last week have I had to go, well, I'm going to cast Crux of Fate, and I'm going to kill your board and take 4, and you're going to gain 4 whilst I do it. And although it's a necessary evil, man, it still sucks. It's still brutal. So yeah, I'm really excited for those those black-based Aristocrat decks that can just get you. Another card I've quite liked lately is, and I actually was seen as in the winner of the last GP. Was it GP or it might have been SCG Open? No, I'm pretty sure it was the GP. It might have been Orlando, but don't quote me on it. I'm terrible with names, especially when I'm working. I'm not listening correctly. Juddy Offshoot. So it's a 1-cost 0/3 plant with Defender, and it's very simple. Landfall. You play a land, you gain a life. This card is sweet. This card is awesome. Big fan of it. A couple of people were running it as like 4-ofs in their sideboard. People started jamming to their main list, their main deck lists. The guy that won the last one was running 4 copies of Jedi Offshoot, his Eldrazi deck. His Eldrazi ramp deck with cards like Nissa's Pilgrimage to go and get more land to gain more life. Map the Wastes to bolster my 0-3, so now it's a 1-4 and I can tangle with those pesky goblins and gain a life at the same time. Explosive Vegetation, Blighted Woodlands, all those kind of cards that will allow you to search for land is also gaining you an incremental or an insane amount of life. I mean, imagine if you just go turn 1, play a forest, play Jardy Offshoot, untap, second turn, play Jardy Offshoot with my 1 forest, play a fetch land, gain 2 life, go. Your opponent, and your opponent's on some form of aggressive line, like say they're playing like Jeskai Black, and you're already at 22, and they haven't played a creature. Like, how do they deal with it? How do they deal with Jedi Offshoot, or Jedi Offshoot, or what the hell it's called? Like, they have to Fiery Impulse it, right? 3 damage? Crackling Doom to kill your Jedi Offshoot. Like, if you go Offshoot, land, go, your opponent is in like, and then they're on an aggressive plan, how are they even remotely close to beating you? Like, it's a nightmare. You're a deck that primarily is there to play lands and then drop recurring Ulamogs and going fetching land. It's so sweet. I think I am really on the bandwagon for this Jedi Offshoot deck. I am actually smiling quite large right now because at the Grand Prix Sydney about a month ago, one of my good mates and pretty experienced player, but also quite of a rogue deck builder, or just a rogue deck tester, Wayne Pigram, was in the grinders on the Sunday as he did not make day 2. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what are you playing? He's like, oh, just green white. I'm like, okay. And I look at the deck, and it's got This is Awakenings, This is Pilgrimage, like all these cultivate effects. And it's got Felidar Sovereign, and Retreat to Kazandu, and Ulamog, and I'm just looking at this deck going, oh my god, like, what the hell? And then I scroll to the back, it's got the Great Aurora in it, and I'm like, oh my, what are you doing? Like, what? No, don't do this. Anyway, he goes through those. No, the deck's awesome. It goes off all the time. I can show you. And he goes off. Game 1, his opponent goes off Mystic Monastery, go. He goes, alright. Turn 2. Forest, This is Awakening for 1. Rips a land off the top, plays a land. Mind you, this deck played 31 lands, so it was just brutal. And his opponent's like, okay, untap, land go. And he goes, okay, This is Awakening for 2. Hit. So now he has 5 land in play. Plays his 6 land for the turn, says go. His opponent taps 3 mana and plays Jeskai Ascendancy. Wayne untaps and casts This is Awakening for for 6, and he hits 5 and goes to, it's like 10 or 11 mana. And then on turn 5, he casts Ulamog and his opponent just gets hit. It was so good. And the game 2, the game like grinds out. His opponent gets like a Monastery Mentor, makes a bunch of guys. He casts a Great Aurora, and he just dumps all his land back on the field. He's like, oh yeah, I've got 6 mana floating, and I've got an Ulamog in my hand, and this is just great. He taps all his mana. He goes to tap all the excess mana because he's obviously empty. He's dumped all the excess mana that he had that he didn't need to cast a Great Aurora with into his mana pool. And then he looks across his opponent's board. His opponent's drawn an absolute gas load of cards and dropped 7 lands. And he's like, well, that's not how it's supposed to work. And he casts his Ulamog, and his Ulamog gets countered, and he buys back a Soulfire Grandma, Dragonmaster. I think it was Dragonmaster outcast, and then his opponent just starts going off and making Dragonmasters because his Great Aurora has backfired and given his opponent a shitload of land. So this is hilarious, but his whole life gain, like Retreat to Kazandu, This is Awakening, gain 14 life. But he wasn't playing Jedi Offshoot. Why weren't you playing Jedi Offshoot? Oh no. So we're going back to that list, Wayne. You will listen to this, and you will state that Jedi Offshoot would be great in that list. it's some of the cards that I wanted to talk about. I mean, this isn't a very interesting podcast. To be completely honest, I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of standard practice that needs to come for the next few PBTQs and getting on the control train, trying to get it right. Sideboarding at the moment is brutal. It's so hard. It is so hard. There's so many good cards, so many good proficient cards that are still. I take it all back to say the dust hasn't settled. It's as simple as that. The dust has not settled for the standard meta yet, and it's awesome. It's like it's terrifying because you might rock up and sit down against an opponent that just does something completely and utterly obscure, and it just kills you because, well, sure, I knew these cards existed, but did these cards truly exist? Like, were they went in the Pro Tour? I didn't see them. Like, and you just get crushed by it. Something like a Sultai Reanimator deck running like all the awesome cards that come with that, and Bruce, Sidisi, Brew Tyrant, things like that. Sure, it didn't have big showing in the Pro Tour, but it doesn't mean that it's not very, very strong. You're not prepared for it. And it's so hard to prepare for all those rogue decks that are so strong because the dust hasn't settled. But anyway, moving on. So time will tell whether Standard will just divert back to Siege Mech Rhino and its buddies that come with it with Death Protector and Death Mist Raptor, which I think we all quietly hope it won't. I mean, it's good to see Siege Rhino maintaining its grip on Standard. Well, I'm not going to say maintaining, but like fastening its grip, because it slipped there for a while. It wasn't that brilliant there for a while. It was Siege Rhino, like Patrick Chapman, again, quote Patrick Chapman, Top Level Podcast. If you don't listen to the Top Level Podcast, and you follow Standard, or anything in particular, if you're just interested in Magic in general, do me a favour, do yourself a favour, and head over to that to plug those guys. I mean, I'm not personally friends with them, they're far too experienced. They got a lot better to say than I do about Magic the Gathering. But, even Patrick Chapman said, like, I think I quote, that, do you not think that for the Pro Tour, I wanted to jam Siege Rhinos? That's what he said, and he did. He took Esper Control. He took this really rogue Esper Control, and they just ran right at the Pro Tour competitors, and they did really well with it. But yeah, he wasn't jamming Siege Rhinos because he didn't think it was strong enough. But even anyway, it still ends up winning the Pro Tour because it's Siege Rhino and Siege Rhino, Siege Rhino. So that's all I'm going to say. Siege Rhino. Stay tuned for more chats with about illiterate garbage and Magic the Gathering. See you guys.